Hi, today we're going to talk about how to find different measures of center. A measure of center is really just finding the middle of a set of data. So when we say a measure of center, we really mean mean, median, and mode. We're also going to talk about range today. So let's start with probably the easiest one, the mode. Mode is the most common number, the number you see the most often. There are multiple ways that you can find this. We could just look here and count how many fives are there, how many sixes are there, and so on. But eventually, when we go on to our median, we're going to need all these numbers in numerical order. So I'm just going to go ahead now and put them in numerical order because that will help us in the future with median, but also it's going to help us with mode. It's going to help us see what's the most common number. So I'm going to start with a 3, and then there's another 3. I'll just put it in front. 3, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3 fives, 1, 2, 3, and 6, 1, 2 sixes, then 7, 1, 2 sevens, 8, 1, 2 eights. Okay. 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then 10 is 2 of them. And then 11. Great. Now we can tell just by creating that the most common number is 9. So our mode is 9. Done. There we go. Most common number. Median is when you put all the data in numerical order and then go ahead and cross it off till you find the very middle. That is the median, the very middle of the data. So I'm just going to do that. I'm going to cross off 3, so 1 on each side, 11, 3, 10, 4, 10, 5, 9, 5, 9, 5, 9, 6, 9, 6, 9, 7, 8. And now we're stuck. When we cross off again, it's going to be 7, 8. Now, sometimes you'll get lucky and you'll cross it off and there's just one number left in the middle, and that beautiful number is the median. But sometimes you'll have something like this where when you cross them all off evenly, then there's nothing left. So you actually have to find what number is exactly in the middle of these two numbers. Well, what's right in between 7 and 8? Well, that's 7.5 or 7.5. So our median or our exact middle number is 7.5. So now we're going to do our mean. And honestly, we normally say these numbers or these words in the opposite. Mean, median, mode is the most common way we say them. But I did them opposite. So mean is when you add every single number together. We're not going to add this because it's not actually part of the data. So it's when we add every single number in our data set together. We're going to add it all together. We'll click enter on the calculator. We'll get some big number. Then we have to divide by how many numbers there are. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So 3 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 6 plus 6 plus 7 plus 7 plus 8 plus 8 plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 nines there. So that was 9 plus 9 plus 9 plus 9 plus 9. 5 times plus a 10 plus a 10 plus an 11. Enter. All I did is add them all together. That equals 143. Now I have to divide by how many numbers there are. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So I have to divide by 20, and that gives me 7.15. There you go. Now, I also mentioned we're going to talk about range. Range is just how far apart is the biggest and the smallest number. So we just do the biggest minus the smallest. So 11 minus 3, so 11, 10, 9, 8. So our range is 8. Now that's finding mean, median, and mode, and range. Those are finding our measures of center. Then sometimes you will be asked different questions about them. For example, you could be asked, if there's an outlier, that means if there's a number that doesn't seem to fit, like if we had 50 or something like that in this data also, you could be asked which measure of center is the best representation of the data. Well, if we have 50 in there, that's going to screw up your mean. So your mean will not be a good representation. So your median will be the best representation. Now, if there's not an outlier, if we leave the data like this, then actually the mean is the best representation of the data, the best average of the data. So when you're asked about measures of center, you need to actually read the context and check for outliers and check for what the question is asking for. That is measures of center, mean, median, mode, and range.